I want to show you guys what are the most important parts of the dashboard that you must be looking at to really understand the power of subscribe and save. Okay, so if you look over here, sales penetration trend, that basically means how much of our sales are really coming from subscribe and save. Right over here, we're looking at the dashboard, and this is one of the most important things that you have to be looking at to really understand how strong subscribe and save is. So we're basically seeing what each type of customer is worth over time. We're looking at subscribe and save customers, and we're looking at people that just purchase one time. So the subscribe and save customers are in the light blue, and the one-time purchasers are in the dark blue. So we're looking at it across 4 different segments: non-subscribers, lost, growing, and established. Basically, the most important thing, I'll explain it, but the most important insight that we get from this is somebody who stays subscribed, their value of how much they're purchasing from us increases dramatically. So we can look at like established people over here. Let's say established. Right here, the average shipped sales is about $400 per person. And if you look at the non-subscribed person, their average sales for this time period, which is the trailing 24 months, is $122. So you can see a huge difference when we get somebody to subscribe to our product via the strategies that I'm going to show you later on in this video. $400 versus $120. It's a huge difference. So 24 months value of each customer, it's just a huge difference. It's a huge increase. If you look at even the growing, $134 compared to $88. And these are lost, subscribers that we lost. Let's say for some reason we sold out of a product, we discontinued it, something happened with our product that caused the subscriber to leave us. This is the value of how much they were spending, $117 versus $75. Customers who bought from us once and left, customers who subscribed to us and left. It's a huge difference. Average sales per subscriber versus non-subscriber. Average is 100. Non-subscriber is 70. You can look at the average reorders, 2.5, 2.3 compared to 1.4. So even people that like our product, when we're giving them the subscribe and save option, they're just buying more from us. When you understand the lifetime value of your actual brand, when you understand the lifetime value, you're gonna stop optimizing for perfect retention, and you're gonna start optimizing for attracting the right people that are gonna want your product. So many sellers are scared of like early churn, but you can see over here, established people that were purchasing from us, $400 to $120. This is why we're willing to be aggressive with subscribe and save. This is why we need to promote it as much as possible. Even the people that fell off, even the people that we lost, we still got more money from them. This is why subscribe and save isn't just a feature, it's a strategy. Okay, so now I'm gonna explain these 2 things over here. Because they give you the option to fund, to give a discount when people subscribe. A lot of people don't want to do that. They'll just won't give a discount. They'll just say you could subscribe if you want to. They won't give the additional seller funding, 5%, 10%, anything like that. So I just want to show you. Okay, so basically we're looking at the sales penetration by seller funding. So these are the percentages that we're giving. Some of them we're giving a 10% discount, some of them we're giving a 5%, and over here, this is the sign-up conversion, 10% and 5%. Sales penetration is how much this is actually affecting our business. So sales penetration is people who stick and actually drives revenue. Sign-up conversion is basically people who try, subscribe, and save. These are people that sign up, and these are people that actually made a meaningful difference. They drove our revenue. So you can see over here, sales penetration, a lot of our sales are coming from subscribe and save, but if you look at the 5 and 10%, they're basically the same, 22% to 21%. Is not a huge difference between the 5% and 10%, like how it affects our overall revenue. But you can see over here, the actual conversions, there's a little bit of a jump. Goes from 5% gets us about 8.1% conversion. Giving a 10% discount gets us closer to 10% conversion. Listen, this is basically the overall picture of our business, how much subscribe and save is actually bringing us total sales-wise. This is how many people are actually signing up. Again, every product's gonna be different. You have to experiment, you have to try different percentages, but when you try different percentages, you have to be looking over here and seeing how does it actually affect? How does it actually affect the amount of people that are signing up and trying subscribe and save with you? And how does it actually affect our total sales that we're getting? How does it affect the business? So again, just to recap, sales penetration is simply how much of your total sales are coming from subscribe and save. It's not about how many people click subscribe. It's about how big a piece of your business subscribe and save becomes. And that's why penetration could look similar even if sign-up conversion changes. So I was going over this with one of my clients, and he was having like a hard time really understanding. Sales penetration is just asking, out of everything I sell, how much of it is subscribe and save? And then you can see if it really makes a difference whether you're funding 10% discounts or if you're funding 5% discounts. This is your overall business. These are people that actually stayed and made a dent in your revenue. These are people that signed up. They might have signed up, received a few orders and left, but they didn't make a meaningful impact on your total revenue. So again, the simplest explanation is just asking, out of everything I sell, how much of it is subscribe and save? Now we're gonna look over here, sales by deliveries. This is over the last 12 months, trailing 12 months. It's basically breaking down the subscribe and save customers into 3 different buckets. Subscribe and save with 2+ deliveries is the light blue, canceled after 1 delivery is the dark blue, and active with 1 delivery is the green. So basically with 2 deliveries over here, the light blue, these are the actual good subscribers. These are people that reordered at least twice. This is where, in my opinion, the real value is. Canceled after 1 delivery, these are those people that we all hate. You know, they basically tried it once and they canceled. This is the fall off that everyone worries about. How many people are just gonna do it for the discount and leave? And then active with 1 delivery, these people you can't really, it's way too early to judge what's going on with this. These are new subscribers. They just had 1 delivery so far, so we have no idea. But most of the sales are coming from people who made it past the first delivery. That means, yes, people cancel after 1 delivery, but the majority of revenue comes from the people who actually stick. In the last year, we did $2.77 million in sales, whatever it is. This is the main thing. This is the people that actually stuck. They make a huge difference in our business. You're not losing, that's part of the business. The whole thing over here is we want this to be the majority, which you can clearly see it is. And basically, you're supposed to expect cancellations after delivery number 1. The goal is not to have no churn. The goal is getting people to delivery number 2 and beyond, and it'll come. It's a numbers game. Once somebody hits 2+ deliveries, they are very likely to stay. Their lifetime value just jumps significantly, and they're gonna drive the majority of the subscribe and save revenue. This chart is showing what actually happens after people subscribe. Yes, some people cancel after their first delivery, that's normal, but most of the sales are coming from people who make it past delivery number 1. And that's why we don't obsess over early fall off. The whole thing is we focus on getting people to the 2nd delivery, and that's it. Once somebody hits the 2nd delivery, the economics completely change. Okay, now we'll look over here, subscriber retention. Basically, this answers one question. After someone subscribes, how many are still subscribed later? You'll see 2 checkpoints over here. The 30 days, these are people who make it past the first cycle, and the 90 days. These are people who are actually sticking. 30-day retention is high. Most people subscribe, make it past the first delivery. So you'll see over here, 86.9% of people make it past the first delivery. And then 90%, at 90 days, you'll see the retention is 67%. Still high, but that's when, you start to get some more cancellations, and it's normal. Part of the game. So basically at 30 days, most people are still subscribed. By 90 days, yes, some people drop off. And yes, that's normal. The goal isn't perfect retention. I know we all want that, but that's not the goal. The goal is keeping the right customers, the people who actually love our brand. That's it. When someone makes it past this point, their value increases a lot. Okay, so now we'll look at the coupon performance. This is basically asking what percentage of the total sales are coming from orders that had a coupon. It's a great strategy. Unfortunately, with this account, thank God we sell so many units. And if you look over here, you'll see the next 90 days, we are going to sell about 34,000 units from the current subscribers that we have. So this is a huge business that we have. But we have things, and we'll get to it, not delivered due to out of stock, which sucks. It's horrible. It's like we have basically people that are promising us sales and we cancel the orders because we don't have enough inventory, but it's part of the game when you're at this level. But again, going back to over here, we want to look at the coupon performance. So we want to know when the coupons were active and how many sales did we get from those coupons. You know, when the line spikes over here, that means the coupons were active and we had, you know, a certain amount of sales. If it's flat over here, that means there weren't any coupons driving sales, which is because we didn't have any coupons running at this time. So of the people who subscribed, how many used a coupon to do it? This is one of the subscribe and save specific. This is not total sales. So coupons create a temporary behavior, but a lot of times they don't build long-term penetration on its own. You know, coupons can trigger an action, but they don't necessarily create the loyalty that we were showing before about how we have that big percentage of people that actually stick after 2+ orders. Again, coupons are a great strategy to use, especially when you're first building up your subscribe and save people, but it doesn't need to be an ongoing thing. They're good for testing, it's good for short-term pushes, it's good for nudging those people that are just sitting on the fence, they're not sure, but it's not a long-term subscribe and save solution in itself, unless of course you have unlimited inventory. That's a totally separate thing. It depends on how big you're trying to grow this and how much stock you would need in order to support it. These incentives, they get people's foot in the door. But again, it's really all having the right customer that's subscribed and they have to like our product. That determines if they're gonna stay around and if it's gonna make a significant impact on our total revenue. So basically it's showing how the coupons affect sales and subscriptions. You see the spikes when the coupons are running. When it's flat, that means nobody's using coupons or we don't have any coupons. And it tells you exactly what drives the behavior of the subscriber. It's definitely very useful to look at. So I want to show you over here. It says coupon sales penetration. Again, this is the overall revenue, how much the subscribe and save really affected our overall revenue. So you can see it actually had a very big impact in our total sales for the company. You can see over here, May 3rd, coupon sales penetration was 3.6%. So it made a very big difference when we had those coupons. Again, we had to shut off our coupons. The light blue is from last year. We had to shut off our coupons because inventory is a real challenge. It's a real thing to be able to keep up with that demand. And you can't just continue to give discounts and build up. You're obviously sacrificing some margin when you're giving those discounts. Anyone experienced with Amazon knows when you run out of stock, it definitely has a negative impact on the Amazon listing and it costs you more money in the future to regain that momentum. So you don't want to just spike the sales so much and grow faster than you could really afford to. But it did have a very big impact on our sales. Inventory is not just an unlimited thing that we have. If you have a lot of inventory, then coupons might be a very good way to get those people in the door, to get them to subscribe. And then hopefully those are the right fit, those are the right customers, and they'll stay subscribed. May 3rd, our share of coupon subscriptions was 11.7%. It means of the people who subscribed that day, or this period when they're showing us information, about 1 out of every 9 people used a coupon. May 3rd, over here, if we're comparing the same thing, 3.6%. That means coupons impacted a small, but still a meaningful slice of the total revenue. It made a very big impact on the people that actually subscribed. Think of it like this. Coupons didn't drive most of the business, but when someone did decide to subscribe, the coupons made a big change. That's exactly what this 11.7% compared to the 3.6% is telling us. It just means they influenced the decision for a big chunk of the subscribers. You can see that it flatlines, but that's because there's no coupons. Plain English, if all the subscribers reorder as expected, how much inventory and revenue do we need to plan for? This is forward looking. In the next 30 days, we expect 9,862 units to go out just from subscriptions. In the next 60 days, we expect 22,420 units to go out. And the next 90 days, we expect 34,298 units to ship from the subscribers that we have. This is locked in demand from people who already committed. And on the right side over here, this is planned sales. It's the same idea, but it's in dollar value. 30 days is $347,000. 60 days is $790,000. And the next 90 days, $1,207,000 in predictable revenue. So basically, the real takeaway from this, subscribe and save doesn't just increase retention or improve lifetime value. It actually forces you to get the inventory planning right. If you stock out, you're not just losing a sale, you're losing a subscriber, which really sucks. So again, this part is a subscription inventory planning. It shows you how many units we need to have on hand just to support the existing subscribers. In the next 90 days alone, that's 34,000 units that are already spoken for. This is why subscribe and save changes how you run the business. If you stock out, you're not missing a sale, you're breaking a commitment. Okay, the next section over here is not really a great thing to look at. It's not one of my favorite things, especially when we're in this situation. This section is basically showing us what happens when you don't have enough inventory to support our current subscribers. On the left over here, you're seeing subscriptions units that could not be delivered because we were out of stock. That's a huge amount. I'm happy it kind of isn't showing the revenue right now because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that we basically, refunded. We basically told the client, no, we're not taking your money. So it's kind of a punch in the stomach. But again, we need to prepare for this next time. Well, we need to prepare for this now, actually, because we still have tons of subscribers. And on the right side, you're seeing the revenue. Oh, shit. This is the part that I was afraid of. We're seeing the revenue, so the total lost sales. So I'm looking at this on camera right now since it's recent data. So December 27th, we were about 18% and $279. But you just gotta plan better for the future. So this is not theoretical demand. I just wanna confirm because I had somebody ask me if this is just, sometimes Amazon will show you like projected what they think it could be if you increase the bids, like all that BS. This is not theoretical. This is actual committed units sales that we're losing. 10,000, like it adds up to a lot of money, especially we got these customers to love our brand. Yeah, we cannot ship them the units, so we're basically losing out on these sales. This is like a complete loss. So basically, yeah, this chart is showing what the real cost of not planning inventory properly once subscriptions start to scale. This is the first thing you would actually see when you go to your dashboard. It's right over here. I did this on purpose because I wanted to explain the whole scenario of everything, of all the parts. You saw over here the effect that it's having on our out of stock, on things that are out of stock and not delivered due to out of stock, and the sales, like it definitely had a big effect. But like we can see over here, all right, so at first glance, it looks like the subscribe and save sales are down from last year. Last year, December 20th, we did 72,000 in sales last year. This year, it's only 50,000. December 13th, 48,000 in sales this year. Last year was 74,000. So it looks like subscribe and save sales are down. But this is shipped revenue. This is not demand. So earlier I showed you the out of stock data and the inventory planning numbers. The drop you're seeing here isn't people canceling. Inventory limiting what we could actually ship. You can't ship what you don't have, obviously, and this chart reflects that. If subscriptions were failing, we'd see sign-up conversions collapsing, we'd see the retention falling, we'd see the planned units declining, but we're not. Like everything we went over, it showed strong retention, strong penetration, strong planned units. The lifetime value of the customer was also strong. It's just supply and demand. This is the pressure of growing too quickly compared to what you have in stock. So this chart basically shows subscribe and save sales. The dip is because of inventory constraints, not because of a drop in demand. You can't ship the subscriptions if you don't have the inventory. That's it. Okay, so the next thing, you can click over here and see performance report. And that's if you want to go deeper than dashboard. Amazon will give you the performance report. It'll break everything down on an offer level. So it's a downloadable report, so I'm not going to really open it and open up my Excel sheet and have to go through everything like that. But this is where we would audit cancellations, deliveries, subscription behavior per ASIN. Okay, so if you go over here to benchmarking, it's gonna give you a very aggressive report. It always looks like that. They're basically comparing you to accounts that are constantly running high discounts and coupons. That doesn't mean that this account is broken. It means that we're being intentional about where we need to push and where we don't. The biggest thing over here you'll see, not delivered due to out of stock, is 9.4 versus the 0. Obviously everyone wants to be 0% and not delivered because of out of stock. Out of stock represents one of the biggest subscription churn drivers as it violates customer trust. Plan ahead to avoid supply constraints during high demand periods and track out of stock metrics in Seller Central to prevent subscriber loss. This ties directly into the inventory planning and the lost sales and the shipments, the ship units being down. Coupons acquired 26% of new subscribers. And yes, we saw that the coupons did work. But it doesn't work if we don't have enough inventory. And you can see over here we're already almost 10% not delivered due to out of stock. To turn on coupons right now would be pretty stupid in my opinion. Telling us to give higher coupons, telling us not to be out of stock, we know that. Here, your subscription growth is 11.8% below this percentage, indicating a subscriber loss. Yes, we know that. We lost some subscribers because, of out of stock. And then they're telling us focus on avoiding out of stock situations. You should not try to ignore any information, but you have to look at each thing and apply it to your business. Amazon's giving you the benchmarks and recommendations, but you still need to apply your judgment. So you have to look at it, use your judgment. Listen, these benchmarks, they'll tell you what's possible, but they're not necessarily telling you what you should be doing right now based on your current business, based on where you are. You have to use your brain. This is basically showing you the potential of each product. This is basically Amazon's subscribe and save recommendation. If you increase the subscribe and save discount on certain products, this is what you might get in additional sales. Products that change from 0 to 5%. But they're saying if you go from 0 to 5%, it could drive an average of 8.9% sale increase. But this is based on similar products, what Amazon thinks we could get by doing this. And again, you have to look at your business and see if you're able to do this. You can see over here, different products. You can see the amount of subscriber demand. You can see the amount of subscriptions. You can see the most common frequency that people are reordering this. And you can see our current seller-funded discount that we have. If you wanted to increase the discount, you could. If you wanted to send inventory, remove the product, transfer the subscription, you could do all that. Over here, this one is an interesting one. It says deliveries paused. We have 700 subscribers. And it's saying 300 deliveries are paused in the next 30 days. To meet customer expectations for subscribe and save, your deliveries may be paused until you have enough inventory to fulfill upcoming orders. And the price is offered at the lowest subscription price, but that part is nonsense. The problem is we have insufficient inventory for this product based on the next 30 days sales forecast. Upcoming orders that aren't able to be fulfilled from your inventory may be fulfilled by another seller until you have available inventory. Just another way of saying do not run low or run out of stock. All right, so we covered a lot over here. The biggest thing is subscribe and save isn't about just giving massive discounts. It's not some sort of hack that we need to, let's trick people into subscribing. It's about finding real customers that fit, that want to purchase your product, that like the brand, that like the product, and they want to stay subscribed. And if you connect with these buyers, it has a tremendous impact on your business, on your overall revenue, on your long-term business. It's a huge thing. It builds a brand following. And the biggest takeaway from this really is if you have a replenishable product that's good quality and that you have inventory constantly, you're not running out, you don't only have a small amount of inventory, but you have inventory and you're ready to build this, you must focus on subscribe and save. Listen, to get these subscriptions to begin with, there might be discounts that you need to do, coupons off your first subscribe and save order. You're gonna have to advertise. People aren't just gonna magically find your product organically ranked if you're not advertising in the beginning. You're gonna have to advertise. You're gonna have to get people to go to your detail page. That's an investment. A lot of people in these types of categories, the cost per click could be very high. To get one customer could be expensive. Cost per clicks are very high these days, and they're continuously rising. But that's just another reason. That's one of the biggest reasons why you need to invest in building up subscribe and save customers, because the amount of keywords for your product is not growing so much compared to the amount of people and the percentage of increase in cost per click that your bid is going up, that people are bidding on these same keywords. Everyone's fighting over the same 5, 10 keywords, and it's gonna continuously get more and more expensive. So if you're not locking in subscribe and save customers now, it's gonna get harder and harder and more expensive over time. I really hope this video was helpful, and I hope you guys learned from it. If you guys liked the video, please like and subscribe to it. Please share it with another seller, with a friend, somebody that would find this interesting and helpful. And if you have any questions about subscribe and save, you could comment, or you can go to my website, reach out to me anyway. I promise I want to help. Thank you for watching, and have a great day, everybody.